It sounds like all the other verses we've heard from him this year. It sounds like, I mean, Mike, I mean, would you be excited? Like, let's say a week from now, we get word that he's about to drop a project. Would you be excited or would you be more afraid?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it right here on what is it, October 29th, 2021. At this rate, I don't want to hear another Jay Z album. Um, I don't. I
It
don't.
seems crazy to say.
Yeah, I don't. At least like I said, at this rate. I'm not saying that there couldn't be like a couple of songs that, come along the way where I'm like, okay, yeah, Jay coming or whatever. But like you said, just based on what we've been hearing from him this year, from I'm Sorry Not Sorry, to the Drake records he's been on, to Jail with Kanye, to these two records, I don't really like what's building up. I think one of the big problems that we're gonna have with the next Jay record is the fact that it's following 444, and so we don't really know what to expect. And the gift and the curse about
I want to
444
see it.
is the fact that it was highly regarded, right? It was highly regarded, and I
I
didn't.
don't know why. I don't know why.
I think he would be better off if it wasn't highly regarded, and
Oh,
he could
yes, he would.
actually, you know what I'm saying,
Dear
come with
Lord.
one of those Electric Circus B moments. You know
Dear
what I'm
Lord.
saying? Like the fact that 444 was highly regarded
Who, who,
puts.
who was saying this, Mike? Who was saying this?
I mean, the fans out here love it. People
Like the
love
media
444.
publications that give like Peppa the Pig higher ratings than like rap
I mean,
albums that are
listen,
like classic.
Maurice actually wrote the review for 444 on According to Hip Hop, and he wrote an incredible review. People loved it. He rated it very high. I think the sentiment of 444, and I think that the back layered soundtrack that No ID provided for it made it very highly regarded. We never saw Jay really get that vulnerable about certain subjects and be real with it. I mean, all the way down to him talking about his mom and her sexuality and all those things. I don't think this was more of a skilled thing when it comes to 444's highly regardedness. I think it's the fact that he is who he is as a hip hop icon, and he was revealing certain things that weren't revealed before. But see, I think I like Jay Z for different reasons, so that's
It just
probably
wasn't
why I
dope,
didn't.
Mike. It just wasn't dope. Like all that, it just wasn't
No,
dope.
I hear you, and the reason, yeah, you're right.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and we can pick
Like
it apart, but yeah, is it
subject.
dope or is it not?
Hold on,
Are you?
hold on, Mike. Mike, subject matter a great album doesn't make. If that was the case, every Rakim or Nas or Black Thought album would be considered a classic.
What do y'all
Like,
think about 444 in the chat? Are we just talking out our ass, man, or is 444 really a dope album? And do y'all still listen to it heavy? Because again, I think that puts him in a backward position in the fact that people loved it. It was highly regarded. So now, where do you go? Where does Jay Z
snore,
go
snore,
on the
snore.
next album? Does he do more of the same? Because you can
I
only
don't
do
know.
444 once. Because a lot of that momentum was the fact that it went, kind of rivaled Lemonade and that whole storyline and whatever the people get into when, they fall in love with people's personal lives. But outside of that, what is he gonna do um, I mean, you can't do that twice. Jonathan Coleman says 444 is dope. Okay. Let's see. We got more people in here. Killamon TV says, but the 444 beat was way dope. Jay Z wanted to just talk to people on a different tip, and it was dope as hell. I feel like Jay Z has maintained his dopeness. Okay. Unknown Name says Jay no longer has anything interesting to say. 444 was highly regarded for gossip aspect. Solange throwing hands on him in the elevator had more to do with that than the actual album. I think that's an interesting assessment. DeCarlo says 444 was some mid. DJ Diverse says I loved 444.
It
Miss Amina
was
says 444 had
some
a condescending tone
movie.
at times. Making Noise says 444 didn't hit like the others because No ID did all the beats. He's not good for a whole album. Okay, I think there's mixed reviews all around here.
No, hold on. So I'm gonna be actually with him a little bit on that. I wouldn't
Yeah.
choose No ID's production for an entire album straight through. There is something to that because it's not just Jay that I don't love about that album. It's the production that I don't love either. And overall, I love and appreciate No ID as a producer.
And we have 44 people in the room. TC Carr says 444 was
That's
nice.
very problematic, Mike.
That's crazy. Making noise says 444 was not memorable. Okay, you guys can keep giving your input. I want to know what songs on 444 you guys feel like would actually even be on a Jay-Z's greatest hits or anything close to it. You know what I mean? Or something you
Mike,
still listen to.
Mike, there's nothing on 444 that would make the C side. As in, like the A and the B side could be full, and you would fill up the C side, and there still wouldn't be a 444 track on there.
All right,
Stop
let's
that.
just say, as a hip hop listener and a hip hop fan, and as a Jay Z fan, say you're Jay Z. What's the next album's direction? What are we doing? What are we doing, Jay?
It's a fascinating question because I think uh, rap is the craft where a lot of the art that you speak out is the imitation of your life or the life of those around you and the things that are going on around you. And I think that's what we get to when we talk about it being uninspired and unimaginative. Well, it's like, when we met Jay, it's like, he was practically a millionaire if he wasn't a millionaire. And now he's like a billionaire practically. And so it's like a lot of the money talk, it rings a little more hollow than it used to because before you kind of got with the hustler ambition because he didn't have $1 billion yet. And you could see him having the hustle and the ambition, like, yo, this dude trying to go get a couple $1 billion, and you were with it, but now he's there.
Yeah,
But when you get there, it kind of loses steam, Mike. He
you're
chilling
right.
on a
It's
boat
something to be
somewhere
said
with
about being at the
B.
finish line,
He
and it's
chilling
like
on a boat somewhere with B, Mike. It's like you at the. What did he say on Already Home? I'm in the hall already, on the wall already.
this
I'm
ain't
a work of
sports,
art. I'm a
man.
Warhol already.
Like this ain't sports. Like you can sit there
Niggas
and look
compare
at
me to Biggie and Pac already.
you can look at Tom Brady and
Already.
say, "Yo, why is he still out here? He still
That's what
wants
I'm saying.
to."
He was talking his own shit almost 10 years ago. Like, yeah, I'm already home.
Like I said, this music thing is a lot different than like sports. Like Tom Brady has pretty much all the records, right? And he likes to compete, and he's still playing at a high level. And one would say like, why is he still out here? And I think the answer is he still thinks he can win, and he still thinks he can play at a high level. Now,
Mike,
as an MC, can Jay say he's still at the top of his game?
Mike, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You want to know why Tom Brady's still playing? Because he won rings in his 20s, and then he won rings in his 30s, and
Now
then
it's
he
time to
won
ring.
rings in his 40s, as in plural when I say each decade.
Did you
So,
see? I don't want to get too far off course here. Shout out to everybody coming in the room. Keep coming in. Did you see that Laker game the other night when the young Thunder, came back from 26 down?
Mike, that was very problematic.
That's what I'm talking about here. These young cats,
That was
and see
problematic.
again, we talking about hip hop or whatever. If you're not focused and you're out here leaning on your legacy, they don't care what Westbrook has done. They don't
Snitch.
care what Anthony Davis has done. They're ready to run you off the
Carmelo,
court.
Rondo,
Carmelo,
White,
yes, yeah. They don't care
snatch,
what you've done. It doesn't
snatch.
matter.
Fuck your team, Mike. Fuck these kids are like fuck your team.
Yeah, like I grew up watching you. Cool. Time to run you off the court.
Look, Mike. John Morant came into this league talking trash to James Harden on his first game. Like, yeah,
As you
fuck you, nigga.
should.
I'm about to run you off the court.
As you
Old
should, man. Like,
grandpa, calling James Harden
because
grandpa. I'm about to run you off the court,
the
man.
funny part about this, especially in rap, man. And again, I don't want to get too far off course. We sit here and act like the people that were running things in the '90s were showing love to the MCs in the '80s. They weren't. Who was Biggie putting Kane on the record?
Mike,
You know what I'm
Nas,
saying? Like,
Nas, Nas jumped on Cool G Rap's album
Oh
four,
yeah.
five, six, and they did a video together. That's the only one of those
Yes.
dudes that showed them old dudes love is when Nas jumped on
Yeah.
G Rap shit for 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
which is a
No.
great song. That's a classic rap song. G Rap and Nas doing a back and forth.
Real
No, he
shit.
showed him love, but that was it.
Yeah. I mean, Rap Life too, dope record. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it wasn't a lot of that. Like, it wasn't a lot of cats that was on top of their game making records with KRS. And I think Jay is one of those guys that, when he had it, he took it and went for it and didn't look
Like,
back. I think
like
Jazzo might have been the only one that he reached back, but it's not like Kane is on a Jay album. It's not like Kane is
no,
on Volume 2. You know what I'm
he didn't
saying?
even he didn't even reach back, Mike. He was about to sign Jazzo. Jazzo was on that record because he thought the contract with Jazzo was about to go down too.
Yeah.
You
And
feel me?
so,
So that was to promote Jazzo, and then it speaks to the fact it's like, yo, why we gotta hear Kane on Big L's album after Big L is passed when you got a straight line to Kane? Like Jay had an opportunity to put Kane on plenty of records.
yeah, they never
Then
did that.
Kane took Jay on his first tour, correct?
Yeah. And again, I ain't got no problem with that. But my thing is like they want to act like the current generation's the only ones that ain't looking back. You know what I'm saying? Like people in the '90s wasn't putting Melly Mel on records. They weren't.
Mike, Mike, Jay is the captain of Fuck Your Team.
Yeah.
he is the one. Like he is the one steering the ship.
Yeah, because while Juvenile was hot, Jay worked with Juvie. You think Juvenile can get in touch with Jay for a feature now or whatever? Come on, man. I mean, it is what it is, and that's fine. But when it goes like that, then the young cats are gonna have the same mentality. And when you on the track, they're not waiting for you to catch your breath. They're gonna come through like a whirlwind. And I think that's the point where Jay is in his career. Like, do you think?
Like,
Because I know he's really current, right? That's the other part I would ask you about Jay coming out with a record. Who's gonna feature on there? Who do you think at this point that's really, really popping in their own right now would even sound right on a Jay record, on a Jay album, and it would make sense?
I mean, his roster is going to have to come through for him. So Benny and Electronica come to mind immediately.
Okay, I'm talking about hit stuff. If we talking about like he's trying to come for something that, like how he was able to do with Ross on "Fuck with Me, You Know I Got It." As quality as Ross is, a Ross feature is not gonna get you spins like it was getting in 2013. Neither is a Jeezy one because he used Jeezy on Blueprint 3.
So that's the problem when you make music in the style and in the vein that he has made music. As you get older in this game, it makes it hard for you to drop just a quality album of content filled material that people can appreciate. Because here's what I mean: it's like, well, you haven't dropped any Made You Looks, really, or stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like
No,
most
I
of your
get you.
stuff
I
is being.
think if I had to say, not to interrupt you, if I had to say that
Oh,
he
go ahead.
had one of those, I would say it's the Rock Boys. And I think that's why everybody really connects with American Gangster because I felt like American Gangster was going somewhere where it could have taken Jay to that next level creatively in his age. But then the Blueprint 3 kind of dialed it back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so and you're right about American Gangster, but here's what I would say, like, and this is what I mean about the stuff from 444 wouldn't make his C list. Like most of his A and B list, you're gonna find most of it on Reasonable Doubt in Volume 1 and pieces of Volume 2 and 3. The C list is the stuff that's on the Blueprint 3 and American Gangster.
I
You feel what
disagree
I'm
with you
saying?
on that. I know you're
Yeah.
really heavy on Volume 1. I think,
It gets better, Mike. There's nothing there,
Empire
Mike,
State of
there's
Mind's a big one,
Mike,
man. Empire State of
Mike,
Mind and DOA are
there,
big ones.
no, and those are big, and don't get me wrong, but there's nothing. I'm not a fan of Empire State of Mind like everybody else is.
It's a big record.
Who
It's a dope record. He's spitting on there too. I mean, we got to give him credit for that.
he is, but that's what I mean when I thought about these records. It's like, well, how classic and iconic are those records to you? Because that's what I mean. Is like You can't tell me that that record is better than Streets is Watching or Imaginary Player or Where I'm
Well, we're
From, because
talking
it's
about
not.
two different things here. If we're talking
No,
about
I mean,
radio,
but if we're
Jay,
rating, like, how
no,
about
because
this? You know,
I would say the DOA and you know, Kingdom Come, the song. Yes, I will put it in the vein of those things. Like DOA is hard. I'll give DOA that. But if we talking about his radio records, like Run This
oh, I mean,
Town is just as good, if not better, than a Money Cash Hoes.
okay, so when you say that, it's like, yeah. So I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, because it's like when I look at those records, though, and this is what I mean. Well, Run This Town, the highlight of the record is really Ye's verse and Rihanna's hook and
The
that
beat is a
beat.
highlight too.
And the beat, no, Mike, I was going to the beat, like the three highlights. So if we're running things off in order about Run This Town, and this is what I mean, it's just like a C-list record for him, even though it might be an A-list hit. It's like, well, he's not really the highlight of that song. That beat is stupid. Rihanna's crazy on there. Ye is somewhere else on there. That's one of Ye's 10 best verses.
How do you feel about DOA though?
I mean, it's dope. You're more of a fan of that record than I am,
I
Mike.
like,
Like,
I
it's
think I
dope.
love the approach, right? I think that
It's
that was
dope.
one of the times
It's
where
good
with the
rap
first
music.
single he made a statement, and you know what I'm saying, the video, once again he was going in this whole direction where it was like it was a bossing up hip hop thing, and nobody does it in that way like Jay, right? That's his whole lane. That's why Reasonable Doubt even has the aesthetic value that it has, image wise and everything, because of that whole bossed up approach. And I think he was able to find that lane later on in his career. But like you said, now Dreadhead Jay is it's undefined at this point.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Even too about like Run This Town and DOA.
Mm-hmm.
If he was doing a verses, he wouldn't do either one of those songs, because you wouldn't really want to run any of those verses from his songs. He's got better verses on other hits. That's what makes it C level to me. Even though the song is A list, there are other things about those tracks that make it A list.
Well,
Like Empire
somebody in the
State of
chat
Mind to me,
mentioned your
like Empire
song.
State of Mind to me is like overrated. It's just Jay and Alicia Keys on a record talking about New York, but it's like nothing like epic. Like I wouldn't consider that song to be like, it's
It's
not.
an anthem. We gotta
No,
give
no,
it
no.
that,
I
man.
mean,
It's an
no. I
anthem.
mean, I get it, but it's like it's an anthem because it's Jay and Alicia Keys talking about New York. Like,
Well, you know what? And I
I
give
prefer
props
the New
to.
York record by Mike. I prefer the New York record by Rakim that DJ Premier produced. That's on the 18th
Of
letter over
course you
that
do.
record. If we're talking about a record like repping New York, there's so many records repping New York.
Of
That's an
course you
anthem
do.
to people. No, what I'm trying to express to you is that there are so many MCs from New York that have made anthems for New York. That song is an anthem to people because of who put it together, not because of the quality of the song. No.
I don't know, man. I disagree with you because
That's
I think
fine.
the
You
chorus
can
is
keep on liking that
infectious.
shit if you want to.
No, I think the chorus is yeah. Andrew says Empire State is amazing. I think the chorus is infectious, and I don't even like Alicia Keys' voice. I think Alicia
You
Keys.
don't, Mike. You
I
hate
no no
on
no no.
Alicia
Let me
Keys a
finish.
lot.
I think Alicia Keys is the most overrated singer probably of the past 30 years. But she
Why?
sounds great on that song, and I give credit where credit's due. So I mean, her being on
Mike, you
it
don't like
had no,
Mike, hold
her
on.
being
Just
on it
hold
has
on.
nothing to do with me liking it. I'm just letting you know, like I like the song. It could have been damn Mary J. Blige singing that same hook. That shit was dope.
Mike,
Andrew
how about
says
this?
Coop is hating.
Mike.
Yes, Coop is hating. What's going on?
No, Mike, I was actually about to say feeling it's better than Empire State of
No,
Mind to
it's
me. Do you
not.
feel me?
No, it's not.
Like, but that's how I feel. I think feeling it's a better song than Empire State of Mind.
How? How do
It
you
just
feel that
feels
way?
better. It feels more like Jay. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like he's trying to get with a particular person to make your particular type of song to get a particular amount of spins. It doesn't feel like the machine. It feels like Hove. Fuck you mean? What am I talking about? Y'all
I
talking about the
disagree with you.
machine, and I'm talking about Jay, and y'all asking me
I
what I'm talking about on According to Hip Hop. Y'all wild.
I listen. I think that it's a dope song. It didn't feel forced to me.
I didn't
Like
say it wasn't dope. I said it's overrated. As
it's
in, like, y'all treat it like it's like this, all-time great New York anthem. I'm like, no, it's a dope record.
Mandan says Alicia Keys is a better singer than Beyonce. Stop that.
Mike.
Beyonce at least
Oh,
sings in tune. Come
this
on
is so
now.
convoluted. How about this? Beyonce is a better singer, than
Of
Alicia
course she is.
Keys. But I personally think that the Diary of Alicia Keys is better than any product Beyonce's ever put out from beginning to end. If we're just talking about quality of album from
Well, let
beginning
me
to
let me
end.
be perfectly clear. I think on the first two albums, Alicia Keys is a good singer. I don't know what
Okay,
happened
so
after the
Mike, I was
second
actually
album.
about to
Her
ask you
voice was
specifically
gone.
about the first two albums. It's like you don't
No,
like the Diary of Alicia Keys, Mike?
no. I like those first two albums. I actually bought them. You know
Okay,
what I'm
songs in a
saying?
minor. Yeah, songs in a minor where she took
Yeah,
the ODB shit with Girlfriend
yeah,
and
dope.
Jermaine Dupri produced
Again,
it.
that's
It's
when
another
she
JD hit,
wasn't
Mike. It's another
singing.
JD hit on there that's a
There's another
problem.
JD hit. You know,
Another
she was
JD
singing
hit.
in tune back then. I don't know what happened after the
Here,
second
I'm
album,
playing this
man.
nigga
Like,
shady.
I don't, no, I'm just being honest. It's crazy. I got a
No.
quick story. Cause
But you tell me that
I used
this
to
nigga
keep
and
this
some
to
nigga got up on this
myself.
thread and said that I'm hating and you talking about Alicia Keys really can't sing
No,
off the
no, real
second
shit,
album.
man. Like I used to keep it to myself because I thought
Yo,
I
wow.
was bugging. So I was in the department store with my homeboy and his
What are we
girlfriend,
doing?
and his girlfriend at the time, she was a songwriter for like Neo. So she was, I was in the studio all the time, right? And so an Alicia Keys song came on, and she was like, how do they let her sing out of tune like that? And I was like, yo, I thought it was just me. It wasn't. Alicia, listen, man. Respectfully, I like those first two albums, but I think an Alicia Keys song came on.
This is very problematic.
I think it came on like how you got like shuffle going on, it's like a Pandora style type thing. No, it was on YouTube. I was just around the house or whatever. Alicia Keys song came on, and my ears start hurting. I had to switch the song, bro. I really did, man.
So I want to get this straight. You don't care for Alicia Keys as a singer. You don't care for Swiss as a producer. Am I getting all this together? I'm getting this correct, right?
Hey, man, don't try to put me in a box, man. I ain't got nothing against y'all out there, man. Everybody in the chat saying I'm crazy. They say,
Yeah, this
Mike,
nigga
stop.
very problematic. This is what I deal with too, y'all. Like people around Mike have to listen to this shit. I want y'all to understand this. All right.
All right, but anyway, man. But yeah, it's like I think with Jay's next album, I think a direction is a thing where it's like, where do I go? I mean, because you mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to piggyback off of that. I think Michael Jackson had a very similar issue in the fact that he couldn't just go out there and make a quality album. You know what I mean? Like Prince could. Prince could go out there and just put out a quality album. Everything that Michael Jackson had to do was big. And Jay has set this platform, especially him just now becoming a billionaire, being the icon he is, the way he's talked, the hits that he has. He can't just go out there and put out a low-key quality album. Like, he set a standard for himself hit-wise where he kind of has to follow those things up. And it kind of leaves the next album's direction. It makes it puzzling, He can't just go out there and make I don't think he could go out there and just make an American Gangster right now. But even with American Gangster, you're still dealing with that same theme. Where it's like, okay, we've heard that before. Like, where does the next Jay album go? And he doesn't have like a Kanye creative license where Kanye set like an Outkast type tone where it's like, you can just go out there and be creative and we'll accept it because we know that's how you do. You know what I mean?
Well, you see, that's the thing is that like Reasonable Doubt is like his current album. It's about the things that were really going on around him and the life he was living at that time. Everything after that is like a string of the life and times,
Right.
literally. As in, so it's the life and times as it's going on.
You're right.
And then he gets to the crew for a minute, and then it's the blueprint. And so it's like, I guess for me, I would say the blueprint 4 would probably be the most likely route he should travel because it should be a continuation of some sort of series if he's going to be nostalgic. And so it's either Blueprint 4 or Volume 5?
That would be cool if he went and did a Volume 4, I guess it would be. Because
I thought he did a Volume 4. Is it just up to Volume 3?
Dynasty.
I'm lost.
Yeah,
it's Volume 3?
It's just the Dynasty, yeah. So
yeah, so he should do a Volume 4 or a Blueprint 4 would be that would be my thought about that. Like,
what's the life and times of Sean Carter like today? Watching the kids and closing businesses, deals and whatnot?
Right, for real. Like, he should do Volume 4 and it should be like him and like Beyonce, the cover should be him and B on like the boat somewhere on some shit like we can't afford and we don't even know where they are and we can't see and there's just like the water and like some majestic looking island shit behind them because that's how he's always played his hand.
Yeah.
You feel me? He's always played his hand, even that he's bossier than he even really was at the time. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know
He's
the other
always
thing
played
that's
his hand and his
interesting
leverage
about
that way.
you know what's interesting about Jay in his position too? Let's just say he wanted to go to socio-political route and talk about the things that are going on. But it's like, dude, with the access you have, you got Obama on the text and all this stuff. It's like, damn, we don't even want to hear that from you because it's
He's already
like,
done that. I told you he's already home, Mike. What did he say on Already Home? He's already home.
yeah, man, I just don't know what a new Jay Z album would sound like. I barely even know what a new Kendrick Lamar album is gonna sound like either. But we know we got that coming. So,
That's
but
what you keep
that's
telling
why
me.
they're the artists, and they're the ones that have to figure that part of it out. I mean, do you think we're gonna get a new Jay Z album anytime soon?
I mean, the way he's been working, that's what it looks like.
Think he's kind of checking the temperature of like, okay, what are people thinking about this? What are people thinking about this? And kind of going from there.
He is.
He needs
and
Kanye
here's
West. Let's just keep it real, man.
and I was about to say, you want to know what's
He
crazy?
needs Kanye
I mean,
West.
he doesn't need Kanye West, but
Right
he
now he does.
does need to find him a producer who he can vibe with, Mike, the way Nas did with Hit Boy. It doesn't have to be Kanye, because that's what Hit Boy kind of showed too. Is it's like, oh no, Nas doesn't have to go back to somebody that he already has a rapport with. Like he doesn't have to go back to Salah Remy. He doesn't have to call Pete Rock. He don't have to call Primo. He don't got to call LES. He don't got to call Trackmasters even still do beats anymore. Like he doesn't have to call any previous scene, like, clientele. He needs to forge a relationship with somebody that's going to give him something that kind of makes his formula feel updated. But here's the problem with him. Like, because Nas has never been like a big, big, big hit, make you splash type of rapper outside of a couple of albums, he's able just to release quality hits like Car 85 and Replace Me. It doesn't have to be big, it can just be dope.
P. White just mentioned something that I was about to mention. Said and Just Blaze.
Just
I
Blaze.
think if I
Mike,
think if there was a
him
Jay
teaming back
Z,
up with
I
Just,
was
Mike.
gonna
I would
say
like him teaming up with Just.
I was gonna say if there was a Just Blaze and Jay Z reunion, I think people would be interested in that most definitely. Because to me, I think Just Blaze is probably his strongest collaborator as a producer, and that's saying a lot. When you think about the best Jay records that epitomize what we know of as Jay as the MC and as the icon and the mogul, those are Just Blaze records. PSAs, the You Don't Knows, they're strong, that powerful music. I think they came with something together. I don't even know if I think him and Kanye are a great match as far as like Kanye being an executive producer and giving him direction. But when it comes to just beats and rhymes, it's tough to beat that Jay Z and Just Blaze collaboration or combination.
No, Mike, you're right, because in You Don't Know and PSA, those are two of Jay's 10 best records, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And no other producer can say, I think, that they have two of Jay's 10 best records in their catalog except for Just.
I think Song Cry is very highly regarded as well.
It's up there.
Yeah, they do really well together. I think that to me, I think damn it, what's wrong with me? I think Kanye got a couple in there though. I think that Heart of the City is one of Jay's strongest records.
I don't know if it's top 10, though.
I
I
think
know
it,
You Don't
yeah.
Know and PSA are top 10 records.
Yeah, that's definite. Heart of the
Yeah,
City's up there, and I think This Can't Be Life has to be somewhere up there. It's very important.
it's important.
It's very important.
But even those records that we named are not better than PSA and You Don't Know.
You're right. You're right. And even as iconic as the work that Ski Beats has done with Jay, I don't see Jay working with Ski ever again. Um, yeah, anybody that he was working with in the '90s, I just don't see that happening again. I think a Just Blaze reunion, people would be very interested in. But as far as new producers, what new producers do you think Jay would actually even work with? Mike Wilmade or something? And he's not even new, but you know what I mean. People who aren't of his generation.
That's fascinating. I don't know because he has such a history of keeping it current. It's even like hard to put a list of his songs together because it's like, well, which era Jay hit record do you want to hear? It's like, oh, well, this is 97 Jay, this is 99 Jay, it's 2003. You know,
Yeah.
it sounds like a year on it, and so it's like, well, Mike, who would you say the hottest producers are right now that are under, let's
Metro.
say, 30?
Metro Boomin is the guy.
So do you see that Metro came to my mind too? Like, do you see Metro doing something with
Well,
Jay lately?
well, Mike Will was on Holy Grail, and it was interesting. It was only like a minute long. You remember that song? My beach is
Mike,
better.
I mean, this guy's a vet now too, Mike. But what do you think about Travis Scott maybe doing some stuff for Jay to maybe help Jay update?
I think you need
So,
Kanye to kind of pull that all together. To be honest,
you don't think Travis can pull it together?
I don't see Travis and Jay working. I don't. I don't.
I didn't see Hit Boy and Nas working, Mike.
I mean, Travis is a machine, man, and I fuck with Travis music heavy, like from the beginning.
Okay, so so
But
so
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
tell you
there's a lot
something.
of
But
people involved. You got Mike Dean involved. It's a lot of people involved, so it's not just
so
Travis, you know.
so I mean, I'm bringing Travis up too because I think Travis and Hit Boy came out around the same time. Is that fair? Isn't that about right?
Well, that's about
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Right. And so
Well, Hit
one
Boy's
thing that you'll
before
notice,
Travis, but yeah, you know, similar, you know.
similar, it's
Yeah.
comparable. It's a relative time frame.
Right.
One thing that you'll notice when Hit Boy works with Nas is that his beats sound different
They do.
because he knows that he's working with Nas. And what I'm saying is that Jay is the type of person that can have that same effect on Trav, where it's like, no, you're still gonna hear that like it's Trav, but it's probably gonna sound a little different because he's gonna be like, that's Jay. I gotta give him like my shit, but it
What?
gotta be like for Jay.
The difference is though is Travis is an artist and he's having an incredible not year incredible career of his own. And it's in the middle of his run. He's not gonna stop what he's doing and dedicate this part of his career to making Jay-Z something. I don't think him being a producer is that important to him over him
Mike,
being the artist.
Mike, it can only enhance his status. It cannot detract from it in whatsoever. Because if you really want to know the truth, if he were to do that, he would really get credit for helping bring Jay back because 444 doesn't sound current. It sounds like his current life, but it don't sound like current hip hop. If he
I
were to
think the
get
days of
Jay
it.
updated, I mean, I'm throwing Travis out just because it's like I don't see
I got you.
anybody new as a producer that he could tap into that could craft out a whole sound album wise for him maybe better than I could see Travis doing. I could see Travis crafting a sound for an album for him.
I mean, everybody sounds great when they collaborate with Travis. Life the Poet says concept of giving the game to the younger generation. That's an interesting concept. I feel like he kind of did that on 444.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that the thing too is if Jay, knowing what his career has been like, he tried to give game to the younger generation in a certain way, it's gonna kind of come across as like, well, nigga, you did this. Let me have my fun. I don't know.